gonna knock your socks off with this video, and you're watching Creative Redundancy, the one known as CR. Okay, so this is an extra long sock. It's very wide, but I only have one of them, unfortunately. So I'm gonna convert this into something even more. So it becomes something a little bit more useful than just one sock. And basically, get a little bit more out of this. Okay, so this is going to be the first step of this DIY type of project of reusing something. So basically I'm going to cut the sock right in half. So I'm going to fold it right there and cut it. And just cut it like right there. Using some fabric scissors. And just cutting this right in half. Okay, now the next step for me here is I'm going to grab what would have been the top side of this sock and work on this part first. But the first thing I'm going to do here is actually invert it inside out here. Because what I have to do first is actually stitch up the top part of this. Well, would be the top part, or in the middle, in this case, for right now. Basically grab your needle and thread here. And basically what I'm going to do here is just sew the top together. I'm just pinching it and making sure that it's nice and tight when I'm sewing this. That way, it'll have some stretch to it and making sure the stitching is pretty tight in there. You can use running stitches. You can actually whip stitch this around on the top if you want to, or back stitches, for example, or a combination of all of them. Because basically what you want to do is actually close off this top part right here, which I'm doing right here. You can see that because the sock has some quote-unquote, fuzzy stuff sticking out, it's kind of tricky. I actually had to make sure that it was like I was securing both sides of it and looping it around or backstitching or running stitches every so often. You'll probably see every so often I did more back stitches on this, but basically just stitching this together. It was a little bit tricky because I'm actually using black thread on a black material, so I was just always double checking this every single time because I was like, I was hoping, I'm like, oh, I better be like sewing through what I want to sew. Now, when I was doing this, I actually had to double check this every so often. But basically just going from one side to there, basically using some stitches. And like I said, running stitches, whip stitches, or back stitches can work for this. Or even a combination of all of it. But basically the idea is to stitch that line together so it's sealed up. Because as we'll see later on in this video, it will make sense why you want to take a little bit of time at doing this part of it. And of course, if there's any gaps later on that you notice, which you'll see later on, you'll have to, you want to fix them or quote-unquote mend them or stitch them together. Okay, the next step here is grabbing the toe end, the bottom of said sock here, and you'll notice that it's not free if I don't do anything about this. So basically what I'm going to do is invert this inside out here and actually kind of fold it over and connect this together and reinforce that end of this. Because obviously it's not free if I don't do anything about this. So basically, like I said, I'm folding this over. It's about a centimeter. I'm just using my thumb free-handing this, literally. And just using back stitches. Just connecting it together. And like I said, invert it inside out. So that way, the folds are on the inside. Okay, this is what it looks like after I did it. I actually added a second row of back stitches, so I went around twice on it and folded it in half again after doing it the first time to start it off. It doesn't look so bad. It'll reinforce this edge so it doesn't fray so much. You might be able to see some of the stitching because I used some reclaimed thread for this that didn't actually, quote unquote, match. So there's going to be some contrast. It'll be fine for this. I'm just wearing this for personal reasons anyways. It doesn't look so bad. Let me remove that little piece right there. And start wearing this, what you can quote unquote call a mini onesie for your hands, as I actually put both of them on now and start wearing them and getting a feel for it. And as you can see here, I'm actually seeing the dexterity of it. Obviously, you're not going to get the dexterity for this. This is meant for warmth, but I'm like, well, technically I can handle scissors. Technically. I'm like, snip, snip, snip right there. But this is not the only one I made. This is the one I'm showing you guys for the example. Here's another one that I made using another pair of socks right here. And as you can see, it's a gray version of one. This is the one that I originally made before starting this DIY part of it. And as you can see, they're made in the same, generally in the same form and fashion. But not only that, let me invert this inside out and look at this. I know, it's pink and black or striped socks on the inside of it. So it's not just one layer of it, it's multiple layers of it right here. And not only did I have 2 layers, I actually added in this which I'll insert in as B-roll right here. So you can see what I also added in. So there's 3 layers in this. You can see I can pick up lighter, for example. And like I said, this is not meant for dexterity. This is meant for warmth. These onesies or quote-unquote mitts for me. And like I said, reversible. So I can wear them, or someone else can wear them too. And I could choose the color if I really wanted to. And I can also add in and use a standard glove and put a glove on the inside, wear a glove, and put this over top, this kind of onesie, one size type of mitten right here. And not only that, it's not only just a mitten for my hands, but it's also so much more. It's also, I can actually technically still wear them as socks, like crew socks, for example. And not only that, it's also this, so I can wear them over my feet inside, for example. And not only that, I can also wear them like this if I want to, or give them to someone to wear, providing that they can actually fit them. And not only that, I can also put them over and actually wear them scent boots that I've shown earlier in the year from a previous video. As you can see, I can actually put them on. And the original prototype version that I have, I can actually fit them in here too. It's a little bit more snug than the black version that I showed in this DIY, but it is possible for me to wear them also with these boots that I showed earlier in the year on an earlier video. So go out there and do something awesome.
As our world changes, we can adapt too. Skill and knowledge get better with practice. Can't help everyone, but one can help someone.